Good afternoon. My name is Ann Wolgers. I am the press officer here at Saab. I'm very happy to welcome you to this press conference that we host today, celebrating the successful maiden flight of Gripen E. You will shortly hear from Jonas Hjelm, the Senior Vice President of Saab, as well as Head of Aeronautics, and Marcus Wandt, the Saab test pilot. After their presentations, there will be an opportunity for questions, both via telephone and online. Be sure to submit your questions in English. All right. Jonas Hjelm, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anne. Once again, to all of you out there watching us, welcome to this press conference. This is a fantastic moment today. I'm so proud of this. I would dare to say historic moment for us. We flew the Gripen E for the first time today. The weather was beautiful. The employees was around the field, and we flew. It's an absolutely fantastic feeling. First flights of an aircraft is, as you know, a very visible moment. You see actually what is happening, but you don't see what builds up to that first flight. All that combination of achievements that actually is done before we do that first flight. That is done by people. That is done by our employees, our customers, our industrial partners, our suppliers, and so on. It takes thousands of hours in test rigs. It takes thousands of hours of simulation to actually come to this first flight. Let me also be direct a thank you to our very, very competent and dedicated employees at Saab and Aeronautics, who, without their commitment, we wouldn't be here today. But also, I think it is worth mentioning that the Swedish Defence Material Administration, the FMV, also plays a vital role in us standing here today and actually saying we flew the Gripen E for the first time. So I think that's worth remembering. Another thing worth remembering is this is actually a new aircraft. As I was saying, it's not just the first flights. It's a lot of things, a lot of steps, a lot of man hours going into us being here today, being able to fly. It's also a new aircraft from the perspective that for instance, the airframe is completely redesigned. We have a completely new avionics system. The structure that we now split between the flight critical functionality as well as the tactical functionality. That is, from our perspective, a great achievement. Let me come back to that a little bit. From the very start, we have said that Gripen E is a smart fighter. And we think that it is smart in many, many ways. It is smart in the way that we think with the new way we handle the software, we will be able to adapt the Gripen E to any situation in the future. We will be able to give Marcus and his colleagues the ability to adapt, the ability to be first in the air combat field, to always be on top of things. That is for us smartness. I think also for us to be able to do that, then I'm coming back to the avionics architecture, because that really ensures that we have the ability to upgrade and not take years and very lengthy processes to upgrade the tactical systems. So that is the smartness in this. We will be able to do it more swiftly and in much shorter lead times than before. And once again, that will keep Gripen E and give the pilots that fly the Gripen E always the possibility to be ahead of the threats they encounter. How did we do this? Well, this required rather a radical approach how we look upon software. And we don't think that we find that in any other military fighter of today. And that meant setting a huge challenge for ourselves in achieving this. Today, we got the proof that we actually achieved it. Today, we flew the Gripen E. That's the proof that that challenge was actually met from our side. When we flew today, that also is a sign of that we feel that we have a maturity and that we have a confidence in the system. That is so important for us. We flew today a fully qualified avionics software system. Fully qualified, remember that. And that is also one of the reasons that we feel confident that the rest of the program is on schedule. Look at the picture, isn't she beautiful? I don't know if you say she about an aircraft, we debated that before, but it is beautiful, isn't it? Well, I know out there that there's a lot of flight enthusiasts that you don't really want to listen to me. You want to hear Marcus actually describe how the flight were. So Marcus, without further delay, can I say this is the best day in your flying life at least?
Yeah, I think you can.
So please, Marcus, take us on the journey that you experienced earlier today.
Thank you, Jonas. First, I just want to emphasize a couple of things that Jonas said. And first of all, it's a big team doing this, and a lot of engineers have put in a lot of effort to be able to make this fantastic machine fly, and also to get you a little bit into the mood. And I'll describe the flight a little bit more. We'll show a short video.
When we're letting go of the brakes and the aircraft start to accelerate, and specifically when we rotate and lift off for the first time. Those first couple of seconds in airborne will be great.
During that rotation, just a feeling of getting airborne and actually looking outside and just to confirm that we are flying. We did. It was undescribable magic. Yes, I hope you could I hope that video conveyed a little bit of the feelings. Try to just, I don't know, close your eyes and try to be in the jet for a second, and I'll try to describe for you how that feels. Getting out to the jet, walking over the apron, which I've been walking over a lot of times, and then getting to the jet, doing the walk around, getting into the aircraft, felt sort of surrealistic. We're actually going to do it. We're actually going to fly this aircraft for the first time. Taxiing out, or actually starting up. If someone would have asked me 5 years ago, how do you think it's going to be in the jet and starting the test aircraft up for the first flight? Do you think you'll have any malfunctions? Do you think you'll have a couple of safety checks that you have to redo? Or do you think, I would probably say, yeah, I'll probably have 5 or 10, and I'll talk to the control center and ask. 5 might have been expected, and the other 5 might have been things we have to decide on whether it's good or not. What happened today? Not one single malfunction when we start up the jet. It's actually it's super stable. We've seen this during the ground runs as well. So actually taxiing out felt a little bit like the ground runs until you see Chase and Photo. We had two Chase aircraft today taxiing out in front of me, lining up for a close formation takeoff, and then it gets sort of a little bit more real that we are actually going to take off. Lining up on the runway, just looking down the runway and see that strip, and you can see the center line, and you're lined up, get clear from control center, and call to the Chase over the radio that we're ready. Getting the countdown from Chase, getting the thrust going in the on the motor, holding the brakes, and then releasing. It's that's pretty great actually. Looking out in the HUD, see the acceleration going, and just feel that feeling of having the whole aircraft just wants to go. And when you get the acceleration going, you're getting close to rotation, pull back a little bit on the stick, and you can feel that the whole aircraft just works with me. And then all of a sudden we're airborne. A real good pitch up to maintain speed low enough for the gear, because we are keeping the gear out in the beginning. Magic, crazy. And after that, well, let's be a little bit more technical about it. The testing, we did testing, not only flying. So we took off, we climbed up to pretty high safe altitude with the gear out, to assess handling qualities in landing configuration. The reason for that is to know that we can go back and land safely. And then we did a simulator landing where we're up on safe altitude, makes an approach. Then we make a simulator go around where we push up power and make sure that we can start climbing again. And that all worked perfectly, just like in the simulators, really. And then we retracted the gear, which also worked perfectly, and put the aircraft into combat mode. So, and in the combat mode, then we made handling qualities assessments as well, and just as expected from the simulators, actually putting in a good roll left, the aircraft reacts immediately, and when you want it to stop, it stops. So the flight control system performed as we wanted to, as we expected, and even, well, maybe even better than what I actually hoped for. As a test pilot, you're sort of prepared for the unexpected all the time, but this was great. Doing a couple of more minor tests, a couple of turns, turning back towards Saab, putting the gear down, good gear extension, back to a landing configuration, coming down towards the field, looking out on the field and seeing all the Saab employees standing there. That was also kind of magic and pretty emotional, actually. And then coming down for a smooth landing, nice touchdown, getting it down to the ground, and still good handling qualities on the ground, getting on the brakes, good brakes, taxiing in, and just the feeling of great success. That's
wonderful, Marcus. Well, thank you for that very bringing us into the aircraft. I could see the happiness in your face when you actually touched down. It was not relief, it was happiness, pure happiness. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I think with that, we are ready to go into the Q&A session. So Anne, I'm handing over to you to describe for us all how the Q&A session will be conducted.
Thank you, Jonas. And thank you. Thanks a lot, Marcus. That's one very proud pilot, I can tell. I'm also very proud to be part of the Saab team today, I must say. All right, I think that before we start the question time, I will introduce two more people on stage. So welcome Mr. Jerker Ahlqvist, who is the head of Gripen.
Thank you.
And Mr. Hans Einert, who is the wing commander flying. Welcome on stage.
Thank you.
All right, so we kick off with the first question. Of course, we go local. And here's a question from Fredrik Kvist from Kåren in Linköping. And he has a question to you, Marcus. So first of all, he says, congratulations, Marcus. Can you please tell me what went through your mind during the first flight? Were you nervous? Koran asks.
I'll answer what went through my mind, and then I'll try to answer the nervousness part. So what went through my mind, different parts, different phases during the test. During the ground roll, just before taking off, several things went through my mind. First of all, look at all the data, make sure that everything looks good. Second thing is, what happens if, what happens if, what happens if? That's the preparation we've been doing. So what happens if, when we rotate, something happens? And the third, which sort of occurred just after takeoff, was that was happiness. I actually took a moment leaving the data where it was and looking back over the shoulder, seeing chase, and that we are airborne. That was sort of what went through my mind in that short moment. I could spend the whole evening talking about this. And whether or not I was nervous, honestly, no. We have prepared so much, and also the system have been so stable and behaved. It's been so predictable, really. So what I mostly was nervous for was whether or not I was starting to get complacent because it just works. So that's, I think, is why I frequently got back to the what if question. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. What if, what if? There's another question from a guy called Bengt here. And Bengt, he wonders, and so do I, how come you have other planes up in the air at the same time as Gripen E? Jonas, who should answer that question?
I think maybe Hans, you're the one who's going to answer that.
Yeah, we use chase aircraft as a comparison to see that all the systems on board our test aircraft works nominally. So it's a reference to our test aircraft actually, and they are also prepared to guide the test aircraft home if he encounters some problems with his instruments, for example, because he needs very accurate speed readings when he lands, and if he can't get that, he will use the chase aircraft as a reference aircraft.
All right, thank you. I do understand now. There's another question from Mr. Tony Osborne from Aviation Week. And basically, he has a very easy question. When do you expect to fly again? So, Jerker Ahlqvist, is that a question for you?
I think it is for Hans again.
Yeah, I'll try to answer that. What we will do now is to go through all the data that we have recorded during the test flight, and it will take some days to do that. And then we will decide exactly when we will continue the flight test, but it will be within the next weeks.
All right, thank you. I wonder, do we have any questions from the telephone?
We certainly do. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, please press 01 on your telephone keypad if you wish to ask a question. And in the meantime, we have a question from the line of Douglas Lindahl with Kepler Cheuvreux. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations on today's flight. I have a few questions. First of all, I would like to know if today's flight was in line with your expectations, or does it mean that you are now ahead of your previous expectations in terms of scheduling? Also, I want to know what will be the main difference from this jet and the jet that will be delivered to FMV in Brazil. What is missing, basically?
Okay, thank you, Douglas. I'll take the first part of the question, and you can decide among you who wants to take the second part of it. The first, I think we are exactly where we want to be in the program. We already last year said that we are delaying actually the first flight, but we will still be able to meet the delivery in 2019 to our customers. So this was actually in line with our expectations. We have communicated that we were to fly before the end of the Q2 this year. So absolutely in line, and we are on schedule.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I can answer the other question. What differs this test aircraft from our production and serial aircraft isn't that much. It's built in exactly the same way as the production aircraft. We use exactly the same computers in our avionics system. We don't have all the sensors to our tactical systems on board, and we also have it very thoroughly and heavily equipped with measurement systems. So it's more heavy than the production aircraft due to all the cables, all the measurement sensors. That's the difference.
Okay, very clear. Two more, if I may.
One more question, Douglas. We have many people in line waiting.
Okay, sorry. For Marcus, then, as a pilot, what's the main difference of flying the Gripen E compared to the CD?
Well, the first obvious one is thrust, and then tactically wise, there will be a big difference how you use it in the combat. But the actual flying is mostly a thrust, actually, at this point.
All right.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, and thank you,
Thank you.
Marcus. Actually, that was the very same question that Thomas Augustsson from Svenska Dagbladet also asked. So, Thomas, you have an answer to your question. There is another question from Karin. She asks, what new capabilities does Gripen E have?
I think Jerker.
Yes, I can do that. Of course, as mentioned, more thrust, more power than the CD, more capabilities to put on weapons and external loads. A completely new avionics system that changes the way of operating, changes the way of being able to make updates to the aircraft. A completely new sensor package, new radars, new EW systems, and so on. So there's a lot of differences between a CD and a Gripen E.
Thank you. Do you want to
Can
comment?
I dive into
Please.
why that's important? Because it feels like that. It's important to tell why that would matter operationally. And when it comes to being able to upgrade, it's everyone that's building something is building it for a specific mission. And to know that mission, you sort of have to sit down and think, okay, this is probably what's going to happen in X years from now. What we are sort of a little bit humble with here is that we are having an idea of what the future will look like. But we also recognize that we don't know what it will look like. If someone would claim that, that would probably be wrong. And so what we are building is to be able to, we are building towards a specific future, but we also want to adapt to that, and that one, and also the one that's a couple of years or a bunch of years in front of that one. And that is to make that happen in reality. It sounds like that's obvious, right? Why wouldn't you build it like that? But to make that happen in reality, that's not easy, and that's what the engineers have been working with, and that's what impresses me when you sit down with engineers and they explain what they can do, because all the time you sort of, oh, that's great, so we can actually do this tactically. Yeah, you can, and that's so that's a whole new level of being able to adapt to what's happening.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcus. Let's have one more question online, and after that we take some telephone questions. It is Aeromedia in Czechia, Mr. Lucas Wissing, who wonders, and I think that Jonas Hjelm, you should answer this question. With the expectations of Sweden and Brazil as customers, what other customers do you see in line after Brazil and Sweden?
Yeah, well, if we talk specifically about the new Gripen, the Gripen E, the Gripen E and the Gripen F, we see a number of countries now coming out with proposals or requests for proposals that actually has the requirement that is perfectly fit. There is no secret that Finland is out there, also Belgium, and a number of other countries that actually are seeking for a fighter that is more or less what Gripen E and Gripen F is offering. So we see huge potential out there with the aircraft, and let me say that it's so important also that we did this first flight today, because I think that also is a very, very good signal to our potential customer, not just our existing ones, that we are in line, we are on time schedule, and they could really, really see us as a viable option for their choice.
Okay. You sound very proud.
Yeah, I am very proud. I'm extremely proud today. Not just today, but today a little bit more than other days.
All right. Do we have any telephone calls? No, not yet. So
there are no questions in queue.
All right. So can I ask a question from me myself then? So what did you have for breakfast today, Marcus?
What did I have? Exactly the same thing I have every morning, almost. Boring, right?
Yes.
A couple of sandwiches, yogurt with some cereals in, I guess. And a glass of juice. That was a little bit more than
That was the extra for today.
Yeah.
That was the extra treatment.
Yeah, that was the extra. Yeah.
All right, and here's a new question from Flight International from Mr. Craig Hoyle, and he asks, what was the maximum altitude and speed that you achieved today?
So our testing was planned for 13,000 feet today. So that was our maximum.
All right, so that was a quick answer. Yeah. Then we move on to Mr. Per Norelius, and he asks, how many test pilots will fly this 39E, and when is the first serial fight plane scheduled to fly?
I think if Hans answers the first part of that question, and Jerker, you might answer the second part of that question.
Yeah, we are 7 test pilots currently at Saab. Not all will fly the Gripen E very soon, but a couple of them. And then we are also expecting some customer pilots also to go into the program very soon.
And the first series production aircraft is actually now in production already, and with the detailed manufacturing of the first pieces for that aircraft, and is scheduled to fly for the first time in 2019.
All right, thank you very much. I think that we will almost round up this press conference. Is there anything that you would like to conclude with, Jonas Hjelm or Marcus Wandt?
Yes, once again, I'm happy today. This is a great day. It's a great moment to be able to be part of. And once again, I'm very proud and happy that we were able to have almost all our employees out in the sunny, nice weather today to actually see you, Marcus, take off. Because I think it means quite a lot for all employees at Saab, not just at aeronautics, but also in other areas that actually work so hard to achieve everything we so far have achieved in Gripen E development, but also has a lot of job ahead of them to be able to have that moment today of proudness and to feel that I'm a part of this journey, I'm a part of this special moment today. So I think that's, apart from, once again, being happy.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. And Marcus?
Yeah, I agree. It's proudness and being honored actually to be a part of this because it's you shouldn't take an achievement like this for granted. There is a lot of hard work in it, and it's when you start out a project like this, it's of course everyone thinks that it will happen, but now you can sort of feel a little bit more confident. Yeah, it is actually on track. It will work, and it's more predictable. So proudness and honored.
And you will celebrate tonight with a little bit of extra juice?
Definitely.
Definitely. All right, Jerker and Hans, some final words?
Again, a day of happiness, and I think emphasizing again the team effort behind this. I think it's you cannot emphasize that enough. I think it's a great day for all our employees that has been part of spending days and nights at their computers and simulators and rigs and so on. So very proud as well of the team, and happy day.
All right. Hans.
I totally agree. I have nothing more to add.
Okay, so thank you very much from one happy and proud Saab team today. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.